Welcome to Court Helicopter Explainer, which comes every weekend. But today we have a special edition because it's the national holiday for Mazingira Day, which originally was Moi Day. That is the 10th of October every year. We are in the environment. As you can see, we are the deep at the environment, so that we are bringing our episode that comes to you and explains you. When we talk about Mazingira Day, which law deals with Mazingira? Which law talks about the environment? Today we shall be looking at the Environment Management Act, that is the EMCA law, that deals with the environment as a whole. First and foremost, what does the law define the environment to be? The law provides that there are areas to be protected because an environment is a very critical component in the sustainability of human beings. The areas the law provides for protection is rivers. Those are the water areas. In water zones, we have the rivers, the lakes, the oceans, the seas, and the underground water resources. That is the first area that the law deals with. Number two is the question about the sewage, the disposal of sewage. The law provides for solutions to that. Third is air. We are looking at air must be clean, air must not be polluted. What does the law talk about the law? 4, emissions. EMCA deals with emissions from exhaust of motor vehicles, exhaust from generators, any type of emission to the environment. The law protects it. Then it deals with the waste products. How do we dispose our garbage? How do we dispose all the wastes that come from hotels, that come from restaurants, that come from garages, those waste emission. Then it also looks at the toxic and hazardous substances. For example, things that are toxic, they can spoil the environment, things like radiation and all those things. We shall also be looking at the law on pesticides. Are you a farmer? Are you using the pesticides to spray your sukuma wiki? Are you using pesticides to kill weeds? What does the law talk about it? Then the law protects also issues of chemicals. How do you deal with the chemicals that are going to the ground? The law looks also at the noise. People think that noise is natural. You have seen everywhere clubs, disco clubs being closed because of the noise. You have seen pastors, people like Pastor Ezekiel, people like Watt, investing heavily on gadgets that stop a lot of noise. Political rallies. We have started political rallies. Now you are seeing loudspeakers all over making noise, political campaigns. You have churches and acacias near you. What does the law talk about the noise to the environment? We have the noxious smells. Have you ever passed somewhere, then you feel a stench coming all over? That type of pungent smells. Does the law deal with that? And lastly, radiation. Everybody has a telephone gadget. That telephone handset, when you dispose it, do you know it affects radiation? It emits some radiation. Everybody has a laptop. Do you know that the laptop is a source of radiation materials to the environment? So that is what the law provides, called environment. Number 2, all those that we have enumerated have standards. And those are the standards that we are going to look at. How do you deal with those issues? Equally, the law protects traditional site. Do you come from the Kaya region of the coast area? The law protects that area. Do you come from Manga Highlands? The law protects that area. Do you come from Simbi Highlands? The law protects that area. So in total, the law is very concerned about the environment down here. What about the environment up here? We have the law dealing with what is called the ozone layer. The ozone layer, you have seen all of a sudden water flooding in Naivasha. The lakes are swollen. You have seen the water levels either in Mombasa going down. How does that deal with it? What is the impact of the ozone layer on the rainfall patterns? What is the impact of the ozone layer on what you call the El Nino and the La Nina phenomena that brings a lot of that area? For those people who are in the coast, has the levels of the sea changed? What is the net effect when you find a lot of fish dying without being explained the cause of that? So this is a whole analysis on what do we deal with the law. Lastly, Mount Kenya at the top, Mount Elgon at the top, the hilltops around you. How does that hilltop get protected by the law? Are you allowed to walk into the law, into that area, cut forests and remove the forest? It is a whole jungle. The national parks. What does the law talk about polluting that national park? How do we protect the natural wildlife that we have from being destroyed? So in total, we look at the law that comes up today. Part 2, Section 137 to Section 145 provides for punishments. Do you know it is an offense under Section 137 to fail to allow the NEMA officials to inspect your premises or your land or your factory, and if you are found under 137 to be refusing to provide the reports, you will be jailed for 24 months or a fine of 500,000 shillings. Section 138 is the question of the environmental impact assessment. That NEMA environmental assessment, before you build anything, before you build a cow, before you build a hotel, before you build a school, before you build a dam, before you do that, you must do an environmental impact assessment. Failure to that, if you are convicted, you'll be fined not more than 2 million shillings or 2 years in prison. In Section 139, it deals with the records. You have falsified records that you have complied with the NEMA Act. If you falsify the records and you are found or you fail to keep the records, you will go in for not less than 18 months or a fine of not more than 500,000 shillings. What about the standards? At Section 140 deals with the standards. You are supposed to follow the standards provided for by Kenya Bureau of Standards. If you fail to do that, you'll be arrested and be charged with having contravened Section 140, and you'll be fined a fine not exceeding 500,000 shillings or 2 years imprisonment. If you are that person who repairs telephone handsets, computers, and you dump radioactive materials to the environment, if you throw hazardous things to the environment, you run a private hospital and you are not able to have incinerators to destroy the waste materials from the hospital. You run a factory, you run a hotel, you run a poultry farm, and you're not able to deal with the emission, what you get, you'll be fined 1 million shillings or 2 years. That is under Section 141. What about polluting the environment? This is the most controversial one, because if you pollute the environment, you are putting people at risk. Section 142 provides that if you are found that you have polluted the environment, you will be fined not more than 500,000. But the subsequent provisions of Section 142 are more demanding. One, you will be ordered to return back the environment to where it is. Have you dug a quarry and you have left to extract maram and left it there, and children fall inside and die? You will be told to refill that at your cost. So under Section 142, the law provides that you will be ordered to restore what you destroyed to what it is. Have you cut a tree without the consent of the forest officer? If you are found, you'll be ordered to restore those trees that you have cut from the trees. Question of disobeying the orders of the tribunal, disobeying the orders of public officers, disobeying the orders as it is. You'll go in for not more than 2 years or 500,000 shillings. Lastly, who does the law target? The law in Section 143 will punish companies. I know very many people will say, my company, it's not me and that. Ask the company. The directors of any company that pollutes the environment, the owners of the company that destroys the environment, if found guilty, they'll be fined 500,000 shillings, and that company will be ordered to restore back that what they have destroyed from the environment. If you are an employee of a company and you have been told or you have been ordered to destroy the environment as an employee of that company, you will be charged a loan, fined not more than 500,000 shillings, and be imprisoned for 2 years. In total, this is the law that protects the environment. The environment is our future. The environment is our life. This is a special edition from the forest, because today is Mazingira Day, the day we respect our environment. Wakili Danstan Omari from the forest of Mazingira helicopter news. Have a fantastic and lovely Mazingira Day. But plant a tree. Court Helicopter is appealing to everybody to plant a tree today to honor the knowledge that you have earned without paying a coin from Court Helicopter News. The biggest environmentalist, Danstan Omari. Today I'm not an advocate. Today I'm an environment. You can see the attire I'm wearing. I'm in the forest. Thank you very much and enjoy that episode.